God's message of love to you from the other women in the Bible.
Hi, this is Larry Watlington of GETL Ministry, and we are back with more of the other women in the Bible. Now, this is another Tamar. Let's not get this Tamar confused with the Tamar we talked about in an earlier episode. This is Tamar, who is the daughter of King David. Now, to set the stage here, Tamar was beautiful. See, David was a good-looking man himself, and he had children that were beautiful. As a matter of fact, his son Absalom was a gorgeous man, long, beautiful hair, and his sister, who is Tamar, who was his whole sister, was also a very beautiful virgin daughter of the king. Now, as you know, David had multiple wives. He had many wives. And what happens when you have multiple wives? You have multiple sets of children. So, therefore, there's a lot of half brothers and half sisters. Now, like I said earlier, Tamar, she was the full sister of her brother Absalom. They were from the same mother and father. But she was the half sister to one of David's other sons, Amnon. Now, Amnon, he was madly in love with his half sister, or so he thought he was madly in love. Really, it was more he was in lust. But anyway, he thought that he was sick, that he was so in love with his own half sister. So here's what he did. He kind of tricked his dad, David, and convinced him that first he said, that he said, I'm sick, I'm sick. Can you send Tamar to my room and have her bring some food and cook some food for me? Now, in that custom in that time, for a young lady, a virgin, to be in the room with a man like this, that was taboo. But David went along with it. Okay, there's your half sister and it's your sister. Okay, so David went along with this. Now, when she got to his room, when Tamar got to Amnon's room, Amnon raped her. Even though she begged him, don't do this. Please don't do this. He did it anyway. And the problem with lust over love is this. Because after he finished raping her, then he despised her. He didn't want her in his sight. Basically, I got kind of what I wanted, and so there was no love there. It was just lust. So after the raping, then he sent her out, put her out of the house. And Tamar even told him. And if you go to 2 Samuel chapter 13, this is where you can read all this and and to get more in depth. But Tamar told him, said, listen, sending me away right now will be even a greater wrong than what you just did to me, than raping me. Because now you're going to not only humiliate me, you're going to humiliate everybody. So sending me away is the wrong thing to do. But he did it anyway. Kicked her out, and she's out there. Now, Absalom, Tamar's full brother, was furious. Dude was out of control. But what did he do? Now, he said, all right, he told Tamar, now don't you tell anybody what happened, or take this matter to heart, because it is your brother. Kind of goes back to an earlier episode we talked about where, okay, we got to protect the family name. I know Ray and Junebug did this, but it's okay. But don't let it get out because, well, we are family. No, this is what Absalom did. Okay, he's your brother, so let it slide. Now here is Tamar, who was a beautiful young virgin. Now she has to live as a desolate woman. And Absalom moved her into his house. So now she's living in Absalom's house because now she's defiled goods. So she's never going to get married. She's never going to have children. So her whole life has been completely destroyed by this one act by a half-brother. And what happens? Then Absalom, he gets mad and he goes and he kills Amnon. Yes. All right, so now let's go back to the tape. Let's review this. And there were so many failures in this whole sequence of events. Multiple failures. First of all, like we said earlier, Amnon, he confused lust for love, lust with love. He was not in love with his half-sister. He's just lusting after the physical, the external. And it's interesting because Tamar even told him, said, listen, you don't have to rape me because my father would give me to you in the proper manner if you ask. So, and he wouldn't even do that. So he ended up still raping. So that was one failure. Another big failure was David as a father. Now, we all know that David was a great king. David was even a man after God's own heart. He was a great warrior. But David had a lot to be desired as a father. Yes. Let's look at some of these things. All right. So even though he was angry at Amnon for doing this, he did nothing about it. And even previously, allowing his daughter to be put in that situation. Here again, his role as a father should have been to protect and to provide a safe environment for his beautiful virgin daughter. But instead, he let this happen. So he didn't do the things that was necessary to cover and to protect his daughter. And he actually ended up, protecting the abuser, Amnon, rather than the victim, Tamar. So like we said, here again, now here's Tamar, who had to live the rest of her life in desolation. Unmarried, no children. All because of sin, all because of lust, all because of deception, all because of the lack of a father stepping up, playing the role that he should play in the life of his daughter. Like I say, the role of a father is not only to love, but it's also to protect and to cover their daughter. We can't overstress that point. So now you see what happened to the life of Tamar. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the church.
Hear God's message of love to you.